You're not going to believe what Mayor Karen Bass just did. She accused the federal government of staging a TikTok stunt to terrify Americans. Let's get into this. You're not going to believe what Mayor Karen Bass just said. She's accusing the federal agents of turning LA into a stage for a TikTok stunt using armored vehicles, helicopters, and soldiers in MacArthur Park. And whether you agree or not, what happens here has a serious implication for the entire country.
Conference on the immigration raid that took place at MacArthur Park in downtown LA.
Of the natural disaster, the worst in California's recent history, and to report on the progress. While I was on the way, though, I got alerted that there was a ICE operation, military intervention, who knows, at MacArthur Park. I turned around, we went to the park. I could see a helicopter in the air. I think it was a Black Hawk helicopter. And I saw military tanks. It was the Custom and Border Patrol, and it might have been military on the periphery. To me, this is another example of the administration ratcheting up chaos by deploying what looked like a military operation in an American city. So I went to MacArthur Park because it is very important that the truth be told about what happened there. Now, you can spin it any way you like, but in my opinion, it's a political agenda of provoking fear and terror. Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks. It's outrageous and un-American that the federal government seized our state's National Guard. It's outrageous and un-American that we have U.S. Marines who are trained to kill foreign soldiers overseas deployed in our American city. So here's the truth. There's no plan other than fear, chaos, and politics.
Now, here's where it really gets murky. Mayor Bass brought up a conversation with an 8-year-old child, claiming the child was afraid ICE would take his parents. It's clear they're pulling heartstrings here because this tactic never fails to stir emotion. Informed and engage. But here's the catch. If you watch the footage carefully, the park looks empty. No children in sight. She claims ICE was intimidating kids, but then says the kids were hidden inside, so which is it? Were there kids in the park or not? She even says she didn't want the kids to know what was happening, but somehow, miraculously, this 8-year-old magically knew ICE was there. It's a masterclass in the world game and fear of tactics. You know, the old slipperoo from the politicians. My old famous saying, nothing to see here, yet somehow everybody's terrified. Oh, wasn't this the same mayor who downplayed riots in LA? It's a familiar pattern. Minimize chaos when it doesn't suit the narrative, and then amplify fear when it does.
Home Depot one day, a car wash the next, armed vehicles and what looked like mounted military units in a park the next day. What happened to the criminals, the drug dealers, the violent individuals who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp, their summer day camp. Those kids now have no activities this afternoon. They have to stay inside. They were ushered inside so that they didn't get exposed to the troops that were walking in formation across their playground area. We did not want the children to be aware that it was ICE. Although I do have to tell you that I went and I spoke to an 8-year-old. I never let on what was going on upstairs, but did this 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE? Did the 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE taking his parents and he didn't think it was good to take people away? So understand that that 8-year-old knows enough of what's going on that he's already traumatized in anticipation. And I don't know if he had a sixth sense or not to know that they were upstairs. But I think it's pretty dramatic that a child said to me that he was fearful of ICE. So what I saw in the park today looked like a city under siege, under armed occupation. And I have to tell you, spending many years traveling into conflict areas, you know, it's the way a city looks before a coup. The administration is continuing what I have framed as an all-out assault, a military assault on our city, Custom and Border Patrol randomly driving through the streets, snatching people. That is when they're identified. It's Custom and Border Patrol, but we know sometimes they're not identified, so we don't know who they are.
The backlash didn't stop there. LA City Council member took to the mic, and they didn't hold back. They accused Border Patrol of staging the entire raid like a TikTok video, purely to go viral and spread panic. Let's pause there for a minute. A lot of times, officers, and I'm assuming in this situation like ICE and whatever's going on, would start videotaping this. Let's see. Why would they videotape it? Okay. Let's think about this for a minute. Remember, it's the way they're using these words on you, right, to create this fear-mongering. Now, think about this. The politicians are always blaming the federal government, in this particular case, ICE, of doing something that they're not doing or what have you, right? So we have politicians are assaulting federal agents, bombarding press conferences, and then saying that, oh, well, we didn't know this is who they were. To not where we have citizens and non-citizens jumping in front of moving vehicles. Now, think about this for a second, folks. God forbid that vehicle would hit someone, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen. Now they're in, well, the federal agency is not really going to be in trouble, but it's a lawsuit. They're going to have to pay for that, right? So this is why they're videotaping it, so that once, God forbid, something happened, they have video footage to say, no, hey, wait a minute. We were following the law. We were doing everything by the book, but there are certain things we couldn't avoid. Again, for example, who in their right mind, and think about this for a second, folks. Think about it. Who in their right mind would throw themselves in front of a moving vehicle? And then you have the other rest of the spectators out there with their, the famous phone. Oh, we're recording. What do you think the outcome of that is going to be? They want them to get injured. They want them to get hurt. Why? So that now you can sue and get money. Think about it. Thought process. Inform and engage. You make your own decision on it. But think about what I'm saying. They even mock them saying, if you want to film in LA, apply for a permit like everybody else. Well, news for you folks. This is the federal government. They don't need a permit to film what they're doing.
MacArthur Park, which by all the videos that we see and all of it and all the inside information that we've gotten, it's not clear that anybody was picked up. It's not clear that there was even a illegitimate immigration enforcement goal for this morning's. This morning looked like a staging for a TikTok video. And what we say to Border Patrol as the council, if you want to film in LA, you should apply for a film permit like everybody else and stop trying to scare the bejesus out of everybody who lives in this great city and disrupt our economy. Every day they are here, they disrupt the economy and they cost this state and this city and county millions and millions of dollars in real money, but also the kind you can't count. And that's making people scared to leave their houses and making people scared to go to school and to the doctor and to call the police or the fire department when something is wrong. That is the kind of havoc that's being visited upon our city. And so we're very proud of what's been done in MacArthur Park, and we're going to continue that work. But we need ICE out of LA now. And with that, I'll ask my colleague from the 1st District, who's led, along with the mayor, the great work at MacArthur Park, and it was on the scene very, very early, from the 1st District, Councilmember Eunice Hernandez.
This morning, we witnessed the latest escalation in the Trump administration's depraved campaign against our city. The National Guard descended onto MacArthur Park, bringing troops, military weapons and equipment, and armored vehicles to a community park, a community hub, a place where families gather. This happened while summer camp was in session at the park, and instead of playing games with their friends, young children were subjected to having to be ushered into the lower part of one of our buildings as terror was taking place in our community, as they were in a space where United States soldiers were there with weapons here against Americans in the city of LA. MacArthur Park is the Ellis Island of the West Coast. It was chosen as this administration's latest target precisely because of who lives there and what it represents: resilience, diversity, and the American dream. It is no coincidence that the president would target a place that so clearly embodies the values he has spent his time in office trying to destroy. When we invade and surveil our own neighborhoods, when we scapegoat and demonize immigrants, when we disregard due process, we are no longer living under the rule of democracy.
But the biggest warning came at the end. One council member said it directly. What happened here is coming to your front door. They warned this raid isn't an isolated event. It's a blueprint for ICE nationwide. So now the question is clear. Was this about protecting communities or about staging fear? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Safety or stunt? If you found this as shocking as I did, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video. Until we meet again, stay informed and engage. Have a safe one.